Greetings on behalf of the Planning Accreditation Board, or PAB. My name is Jesmarie Johnson, PAB's Executive Director.
And I'm Jaclyn Hade, PAB's Associate Director. Welcome to the first in a series of online training modules designed to help you prepare for your role as a member of a site visit team. Additional modules available on the PAB website feature insights from current and former PAB members and experienced site visitors.
As you move through this module, feel free to pause this video at any time and resume at your convenience. We also encourage you to write down questions that come to you. If your question is not answered or you're confused about something in this video, please contact PAB staff. We are here to help. Beyond the training modules, the PAB website offers a range of valuable manuals and resources for site visitors. Please read these manuals and review the resources prior to your visit, as they will refresh your memory and provide more detailed guidance than we can cover in this video.
By the time you complete this module, you will be able to summarize the purpose of accreditation in higher education, recognize the role of PAB and how specialized accrediting bodies are critical in professional education, describe the site visit process and timeline, and outline your role and responsibilities as a site visitor. So let's begin with an overview of accreditation in higher education in the United States. You have probably heard of programs being in the midst of accreditation, as well as programs recently being granted accreditation. That is because the word accreditation describes both a process as well as a status granted at the end of the process. The accreditation process involves individuals unaffiliated with the institution or program, but knowledgeable in the field, conducting an on-site review and making assessments. Accrediting bodies define standards and revise them based on changes in the field. For professional or specialized programs, being accredited signifies that the program meets expectations for student learning and educational activities that are necessary for effective practice and/or employment. These expectations are defined by that field's accreditation standards. Compliance with the standards is assessed by external review teams, and decisions are made by an independent organization. Once a university or program completes the accreditation process successfully, it has the status of accredited, meaning that it meets expectations for student learning and educational services, among other factors. Once accredited, they keep that status unless major changes occur or the accreditation term ends, triggering the next review. As a site visitor, you will be conducting an independent third-party review against predetermined standards at a university that itself must have an accredited status as defined by an institutional or national accreditor. While there are many purposes identified for accreditation, the three indicated here are the most relevant to your work as a site visitor. Once a university or program has been reviewed for accreditation and accreditation is granted, students, parents, legislators, practitioners, and the public are assured of a level of quality in the educational services provided to students. This includes curriculum content, quality of instruction, advising, and student support, and effective campus and program administrative practices. In addition to ensuring that minimum standards for education and services are met, accreditation also serves as a way for universities and programs to continue to improve. These improvements could be in various facets of a program, from quality of instruction and course content to research and student services that contribute to field-specific knowledge, student success, and/or important societal changes. Finally, at both the university and program level, accreditation can aid a student's entrance into a profession. By ensuring the coverage of key professional knowledge and skills, employers can be more confident that graduates of accredited programs will become effective practitioners in their field and be able to pass licensure or certification exams. There are currently 7 large institutional accreditors that accredit approximately 3,800 institutions nationally. Institutional accreditation provides an analysis of how the parts of the institutions contribute to the achievement of the institution's objectives or mission. The review addresses academic and organizational structures, systems, and expectations on an institution-wide basis. In contrast, specialized or professional accreditors such as PAB, focus on individual programs. Their evaluations ensure that these programs meet established standards for student learning outcomes and professional preparedness. This slide includes a sample of accrediting organizations and their logos, though many others exist beyond those shown. Most accreditors are formally recognized by the U.S. Secretary of Education and/or the Council for Higher Education Accreditation, or CHIA. Links to the official lists of recognized accreditors are provided in this slide for your reference. PAB is recognized by CHIA. The Planning Accreditation Board is a programmatic accreditor whose mission is to promote excellence among planning programs and ensure high-quality education for future urban planners. PAB accredits bachelor's and master's degrees in planning across North America and upholds 5 core values in the work it does: stewardship of the profession's knowledge base, collaboration between the academic and practitioner communities, communication, fostering awareness of urban planning, integrity, maintaining a commitment to fairness, transparency, and consistency, leadership in accreditation practices and instructional innovation. Established in 1984, PAB is an independent organization with its own staff and board of directors. It is supported through a partnership among the Association of Collegiate School of Planning, or ACSP, representing planning education programs, the American Institute of Certified Planners, or AICP, who represents certified planning professionals, and the American Planning Association, APA, who represents practitioners, citizens, and elected officials involved in planning. These sponsoring organizations appoint members to PAB's 8-person board, provide operational funding, and recruit site visitors.
For you to have become a new site visitor in the PAB pool, you have already completed several steps. First, you were nominated by either the American Institute of Certified Planners, AICP, if you are a practitioner, or by the Association of Collegiate Schools of Planning, ACSP, if you are an educator. PAB then approved your nomination. Now, once you complete the necessary training, including this module and others online and in person, you will be eligible to be placed on a site visit team. So, as a potential member of a site visit team, PAB wants to ensure that you have a basic understanding of accreditation in higher education in general. We also want to introduce you to the PAB process of accreditation review and your role in that process. An integral component of the visit and the accreditation processes is the site visit team. The site visit team is composed of 2 educators and 1 practitioner, drawn from the pool of site visitors. PAB staff assemble teams that represent the program based on factors like the university's size, location, and whether the planning degree is at the graduate or undergraduate level. Typically, 2 members of the team will be experienced, with the 3rd being a new site visitor. The team chair will have been on multiple site visits and undergone additional training. Each summer, PAB staff will arrange site visit teams for the upcoming academic year. It is crucial to provide 2 key pieces of information honestly and directly. First, can you commit the necessary time for the visit? This includes time in your schedule to prepare, travel to the campus, be away from your regular daily activities, and help after the visit in preparing the site visit report. If you're unsure based on other professional commitments, please don't feel obligated to say yes. However, if you do say yes, you are making a commitment to PAB, your team members, and the program that you'll be prepared, fully engaged during the visit, and continue with report duties afterward. Second, you will be asked to disclose any conflicts of interest that you may have with the program. Common conflicts include having reviewed the program before, received a degree or previously taught at the institution, serving with the program administrator on a previous site visit team, residing in the same region or market as the program, or having other direct professional ties to the program. It is critical that you disclose all potential conflicts to the PAB staff on the conflict of interest form. Before the visit, you will arrange your own travel and submit your itinerary to both PAB staff and the program. PAB staff will arrange a pre-site visit conference call for the team to discuss their initial assessments from reading the program's self-study report. The team chair may delineate any division of labor among the site visitors for work prior to the visit or during the site visit itself. You will make your own travel arrangements to the campus for the visit. These arrangements can be made at any time, but no later than 6 weeks before the site visit. Site visitors should use the lowest available fares. Typically, this is economy cabin. Fees for checked baggage will be reimbursed, but discretionary fees such as travel insurance, seat upgrades, early check-in will not be reimbursed. The program ultimately pays for your travel expenses, so it is important to keep your travel costs low. In addition, PAB is also fiscally conservative, so low-cost visits are critical to our mission. You will then send a copy of your travel arrangement to PAB and the program as soon as you've made them. The program should not reimburse any site visitor directly. Keep your receipts for everything. PAB will reimburse you immediately for your out-of-pocket expenses associated with the visit. Team members are representing PAB and are therefore subject to PAB's reimbursement policy. If you are including any personal time, contact PAB prior to booking your flight. Only those costs directly related to the site visit will be reimbursed. In-depth information is found in the PAB Site Visit Manual. PAB's accreditation process includes 4 important sequential steps. Step 1, the program submits a self-study report to document compliance with PAB standards. Step 2, the site visit team visits campus to verify the report through interviews and evidence review. Step 3, the team produces a site visit report of their findings from the site visit. Step 4, the PAB board reviews all materials and makes the final accreditation decision, granting the program an accreditation term ranging from 2 to 7 years based on compliance, or assigning a status of not accredited. Let's discuss the site visit. The primary goal of the visit is to assess the program's compliance with PAB standards. Before arriving on campus, the team will review the program self-study to understand its strengths and challenges. Once on campus, the team will gather all kinds of additional information and evidence to validate the self-study report by interviewing campus leaders, faculty, students, alumni, employers, and APA chapter members, along with reviewing student work. The team will discuss and refine any preliminary assessments to determine if criteria are met, partially met, or unmet, and offer recommendations for how the program might address out-of-compliance areas, as well as identify the program's strengths and suggestions to move it towards excellence. This is a general timeline of the pre- and post-site visit activities. About 8 weeks before the visit, PAB staff will host a brief pre-site visit webinar to facilitate team introductions, provide access to the program's self-study report and other materials. Many times, this is the first time the team members have met each other, so beginning to establish rapport and coordination among team members is critical to the effective functioning of the team. After initial PAB staff review, the preliminary site visit schedule is due to the site visit team chair 4 weeks prior to the visit. The chair provides comments and asks for additional meetings if necessary. During this same timeframe, PAB staff will be contacting you to schedule the team's pre-site visit meeting, no later than 2 weeks before the visit. The final schedule is provided to the full team 2 weeks in advance of the visit. After the site visit, the team submits the first draft of the site visit report to PAB within 2 weeks. Staff will review and provide feedback for the team's second draft. After receiving comments from the program, the team will finalize the site visit report. The site visit team chair will meet with the board at either the spring or fall PAB board meeting, which is typically 6 to 8 months after the site visit. The site visit schedule is outlined in the Site Visit Manual, which is an essential guide for your preparation. While some flexibility exists, certain meetings are constant. You'll meet the program administrator, department chair, dean, and the chief academic officer, usually the provost, in that order, at both the start and end of the visit. An introductory and exit meeting with the president, while highly desirable, is optional. Teams typically arrive on Sunday afternoon and meet for a working dinner, with the first interview with the program administrator happening Monday morning. You'll also meet faculty, students, and off-campus groups like alumni, employers, and APA chapter representatives. Site visitors will also tour the program's facilities and review student work. Exit meetings with the program administrator, dean, and provost wrap up the visit. During these meetings, the team verbally shares its findings. Please note, in site visits where the undergraduate and graduate planning degrees are being reviewed together, the visit will be a half day longer and the schedule will look a little different. Let's spend a little time now talking about the structure of the interviews and interview etiquette. First, it's very important that all team members prepare a set of questions in advance of the visit. Some of these questions will be to verify information in the self-study report. Others will be questions that have emerged during your pre-site visit meeting. You will review these questions together in the initial on-site team meeting, and you will also decide who will lead which interview and who will take notes. The delegation of duties is the responsibility of the team chair and an expectation for team members. For example, the practitioner may be charged with handling interviews and team discussions regarding the program's involvement with the local planning community and the relationship with local APA chapter. Typically, the team chair will begin the interviews with introductions and background information, indicating why the team is there and why the individual or group is being interviewed. The chair should also set ground rules for the interview, including the time frame for the interview, the need to stay on time, and the assurance of confidentiality of the information shared by the interviewee with the team. This is a good time to note the site visit team members are expected to maintain strict confidentiality regarding accreditation reviews. The entire site visit process, including information shared by interviewees, is confidential. Site visit teams may discuss the site visit with the PAB board and staff only. The underlying rule of thumb in any interview is to listen more than you talk. Other important considerations for site visitors during interviews are being positive in tone and attitude, unbiased about the program content and outcomes, and objective. Remember that these interviews are a means of verifying information that the program provided, as well as delving deeper into issues or concerns that the program may have identified. It is really important, and we stress this in the training of site team chairs, that the phrase, "what we do in my program is," be used as little as possible, ideally not at all. There are ways of making suggestions that don't include what could be construed as comparisons to other programs. Your experience at your home institution or where you got your degree should not be used as example recommendations to concerns the team might have about the program. Remember, program is being assessed against the standards. What your program does or what your experience was is not directly important. The last activities during the site visit are exit interviews with the program administrator and senior administration. In these conversations, it is important to thank these individuals for their time and attention to the site visit. Exit interviews are done in hierarchical order, always beginning with the program administrator. The program administrator can answer any last-minute questions and is in a position to correct any misperceptions that the team may have that would impact its assessment of the program's compliance with the standards. The program administrator also wants and should get the most detail from the team about issues, concerns, recommendations, and suggestions that the team has about the program. Team assessments are never shared in a specific way, such as there are 4 partially met and 1 unmet criteria. Instead, the team should talk about challenges the program faces and offer some suggestions regarding actions to address them. You may state that there are compliance concerns with specific standards and what those issues are. Generally speaking, the level of detail shared by the team decreases with the rank of the person with whom the team is meeting. It is important to remember that the team is sharing its recommendations to bring the program into compliance. It is ultimately up to the program to determine how to best address or resolve situations where compliance is less than fully met. It is also common that those administrators at a higher level at the university the provost, and perhaps even the dean are not as familiar with the program as he or she could be. The site visit team can be a champion for the program and for the planning profession when it is necessary and if it is warranted. It is always important to describe the program's strengths during all exit interviews. This ensures that administrators are aware of the good things the team observed about the program during its accreditation review. It is always a good idea to script out your exit interview statements so that you can see how the level of detail decreases up the administrative ladder and the messages are consistent across all exit interviews. Take your time, be clear, stay on message. Make sure you leave time at the end of your meetings for follow-up questions, comments, and other items of interest from the campus leaders. To review, your work during the site visit depends on each member of the site visit team working together. You will conduct interviews with various individuals and groups. Team members should agree who will lead the interview and who will take notes. You will tour the program's facilities and review student work. You will need to participate actively in team discussions and deliberations as you refine your preliminary assessment of the program's compliance with standards into your final assessments and recommendations for compliance. Your responsibilities and commitments to PAB do not end once you are done with the site visit. However, from this point forward, all communication will be with PAB staff only. Teams should no longer contact the program or respond to any comments or questions from the program. Upon arrival back home, team members must submit travel expense reimbursements to the PAB staff within 2 weeks of the visit. Expenses are itemized on a form provided by PAB staff and receipts are submitted along with the form. It is PAB policy not to pay expenses submitted after 90 days of the date of the site visit, except under highly unusual circumstances. Maintain confidentiality of the content and findings of the visit forever. Remember, it is never appropriate to discuss the site visit, your opinion of the program, or any personnel or institutional issues with anyone other than the team members or the PAB staff or board. For example, your colleagues may ask you about your visit and the program. So when they do, you can simply say, "We had a good visit, but I can't provide any more detail." The biggest task after the visit is preparing the site visit report, or SVR. Much of this work will be done electronically with sections written by and shared among the team members. Once the site visit report is final, destroy all materials connected with the site visit, including emails, personal notes, the self-study report, and draft versions of the site visit report.
So let's discuss this site visit report in more detail. The written account of the team's assessments of the program's compliance with standards and opportunities for improvement. This report is the critical third phase in the PAB accreditation process and is an important part of the board's deliberation about the accreditation of the program. Therefore, the report needs to be clear, direct, and provide sufficient justification for your assessments of standards and criteria, and the rationale for your recommendations and suggestions. The site visit report includes 5 parts. First, it begins with the program overview and progress section. This section provides a summary description of the program and statements about the progress the program has made regarding partially or unmet criteria from the prior site visit, followed by the compliance checklist. This checklist provides a tabular summary of the standard review and discussion that follows in the site visit report. As you can see on this sample checklist, the accreditation standards are listed down the left-hand column, and the team's assessment is included in the right-hand column under the headings of met, partially met, or unmet. Following the checklist is the team's assessment and recommendations for each PAB standard and criteria. This section includes all criteria assessed as met, accompanied by a brief description explaining how the program satisfies each one. For any criteria assessed as partially met or unmet, the report must offer more detailed analysis, clearly outlining the team's basis for the determination of non-compliance. These assessments should focus on evidence of compliance or lack thereof, identified in the self-study report and observed during the site visit. The fourth section of the site visit report is a summary of the program's strengths in narrative format. The report concludes with suggestions regarding excellence, forward-looking recommendations that extend beyond the accreditation standards. These ideas are intended to inspire innovation and continuous improvement, encouraging the program to exceed baseline compliance. Once the team completes its draft report, due to PAB within 2 weeks of the site visit, it undergoes review by PAB staff to ensure consistency, clarity, and adherence to formatting guidelines. The team then revises the draft as needed before PAB sends it to the program for review. The program is given 2 weeks to submit comments addressing any factual errors, omissions, misconceptions, or misinterpretations. The team considers this feedback and prepares the final version of the site visit report, which is submitted to PAB staff and incorporated into the board's deliberations. As we said earlier, a good site visit report is critical to the accreditation review and the board's decision, so here are a few tips. It should be written for a very broad audience, as the program may share it with administrators, advisory committees, and other stakeholders who are not familiar with the self-study report and all of its contents. It is critical that the site visit team members provide sufficient detail regarding compliance because the board, in its determination, needs to account for variance among the teams. It is also important to avoid a couple of common mistakes in the site visit report. First, try not to use individual names, but rather refer to roles and responsibilities. For example, you should use the phrase program administrator rather than his or her name. Use the phrase a faculty member rather than naming Professor Johnson specifically. This keeps the review about the program, not individuals or their specific contributions or liabilities to the program. You will be asked to provide recommendations for partially met and unmet criteria. These are intended to be recommendations as to how a program might creatively resolve problematic situations. Make sure you are not prescriptive by saying that the program should do X, then it will meet the criteria. Also, making recommendations beyond the control of the program is neither useful nor helpful. This slide indicates one of the most common errors in a site visit report. The first example provides no justification for why, specifically, the criterion was met. The second statement is greatly improved. It provides greater detail and points to items that the team viewed as important in its judgment of this criterion. Specifically, coursework, lecture series, and funding for students to attend conferences were all important evidence that the team used in finding this criterion met. This is a type of detail that the board needs and the information that is useful to other readers to see how the program accomplishes its work. PAB meets in person twice annually to conduct accreditation reviews, in the spring in conjunction with the APA conference, and in the fall in conjunction with the ACSP conference. For each review, the board will meet with the site visit team chair, either in person or virtually, to discuss the site visit report, including the team's evaluation of criteria assessed as met, partially met, and unmet. Separately, the board will then meet with the program administrator before they deliberate and make the final accreditation decision. Please note, the board reviews the same materials available to the site visit team, including the program self-study report, as well as the prior and current site visit reports. In summary, prior to the site visit, PAB expects you to understand the accreditation process and agree to policies, procedures, and timelines contained in the PAB site visit manual and other materials. To do your job effectively in a short length of time on campus, PAB also expects you to prepare some more. That means reading the self-study report and previous site visit report. Determine your initial assessments of the criteria. Be prepared to discuss them on the pre-visit team meeting and develop questions to be asked during the visit to learn more about the compliance issues you identified. Make sure your assessments of the criteria are fair and based on evidence that can be cited. When you find criteria that are not fully met, provide useful recommendations and suggestions to help the program improve. Your team members also have expectations of you. You are expected to provide input to team's deliberations and efforts during the visit and contribute to writing and reviewing the draft site visit report and any revisions made for the final report. The program and the PAB both require confidentiality from you during and after the visit. The final expectation listed here is that you learn during your site visit. You learn about planning education, about effective ways for students to learn, and about how different programs accomplish different aspects of planning education. This learning and exposure to other programs are just some of the benefits you receive for being on a site visit team. We are confident that you will discover even more benefits. To help you prepare for your visit, please review the resources available on the PAB website, including the site visit manual. Because most of the visit is composed of interviews, PAB developed a comprehensive interview book. This resource book is organized by who is being interviewed and by accreditation standard. It is extremely helpful in determining which questions to ask of whom and in what way. It's not intended that every person be asked every question. It is, however, a tool to assist you at getting at a potential topic or issue if you're uncertain how to ask something. Even if you have read these before, please skim through them again, as the content is continually updated and refreshing your memory is important prior to the beginning of the visit. And finally, we want you to know that the PAB staff is also a great resource before, during, and after the site visit. So on behalf of the PAB staff and board, we want to thank you for agreeing to serve on a site visit team. We also hope this brief overview of the accreditation purpose and process has helped you understand your role in the process of planning program review in the context of accreditation in higher education. We invite you now to return to the PAB website to complete this training by taking a short quiz about the information presented here. You will receive your score on this quiz, and PAB staff will record your results. Once again, thank you.